Yeah, man.
Scene.
But Kevin Samuels just said a line where he said that because there was a woman that said when he asked her why does she need to have a guy that made six figures, and long story short, she said that she believed that she was worth it. He did say that means that you are shitting on all of your fathers, grandfathers, uncles, all these guys who statistically have never been able to hit that number, but still did great, became great fathers, great husbands. And he does mention in some of the things I've seen, depending on the platform, if it's not his platform, he'll go a little bit more, I'll say softer on what he really clarify a little bit more where he's coming from. On his platform, he's just like nasty, but sometimes he'll stand up for the guys and say like, hey, what I'm saying, in essence, there are a lot of guys who are having dating issues as well. Some of the women are having higher expectations than what these guys are able to deliver. So in that pocket, like he's speaking to those demographic guys who are in the game who are like, dude, how come I have to go to Ruth Chris for every date? And these women who are like, hey, why is it this guy have a Ferrari and walking around with 9 chains on his neck? He's a bum to me, right? Those two individuals are high school minded, right? But he's speaking to these people. And sometimes you get some of these older individuals that jump in. And just like anything, the internet's going to highlight the worst of the American Idol you know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to show the absolute worst. But that's what I mean. Like there's a lot of stuff in there, but
see, if I think that, I mean, okay, it's problematic, but at its core, if I could find any benefit in what he's doing, if his message is be your best self, right? Bring your best self to the table. If that means you want to achieve these things financially or academically, push yourself and do that so that you feel good about you feel good about, the type of person you are trying to enter into a relationship, right? If at the core, if that's the message, I can support the message where you are encouraging men and women independently, be your best self. It's not about matching up together, whatever. Just, forget that part. Be your best self. But I mean, he's not doing that. But if there's anything I could to try to clean it up or find a kernel of something good, that would be it. But he's talking about that, but there's never any conversation about whatever traumatic past you've been through, what any problems or any other things that you need to work out and work on before you enter into a relationship. It's well, I haven't heard everything, and maybe he does touch on it sometimes, but it's usually not that.
Yeah, he has justified side chicks though. I was going to play that clip. His justification for side chicks. Hear me out. Here is his justification. He said that since the beginning of time, this is his words, right? That the men had let's call them the 10% men, right? In the animal kingdom, it'll be the 10% of the male animals that populate the rest of the whatever, right? And this is what he said. He said that in the 10% men, since the beginning of time, they've always had options, meaning they've always had more women that sought them out than there were men to seek out women, right? So the top 10% men are getting 80% of the women, or like really the top 20% men are getting 80% of all of the volume of women, and the bottom 80% men are fighting for the scraps. That's what he's saying. That's Pareto's law, right? But his reasoning for saying that is he's saying that he thinks it is archaic to believe that the population can continue to grow through monogamous relationships, and that polyamory polyamory actually makes more logical sense. And some people, it makes logical sense to them in a relationship to be able to exercise options. Case in point, he says, the top 10% of the men don't cheat. They exercise their options. That's what he says. Like I said, these are well thought out arguments, right? This is a guy who has put together an argument with some legs on it. This is not a guy that's like drunk and he's like, I mean, could a woman beat my ass? I don't think so. This is a guy that's like going and trying to put together an argument saying, here's why men, or the top 10% of men, have a hard time staying devoted to one woman, is because they have an overwhelming access to options. And sometimes they exercise those options.
Sorry, that's weird. Like he says, it's the top 10% of men.
That's what he said.
All the way up and down the scale, there's men cheating. Or exercising the options, whatever he wants to call it. So that's I have to call bullshit on that. Whatever he's talking about. Man.
He said the bottom 10% are cheating.
Yeah, you're down there, you're cheating. If you're up here, you're not cheating.
You're not cheating.
Yeah.
You're cheating if you're in the bottom.
Cheating, but
you're exercising options
else.
if you're in the top.
It's exercising options, but it's a class. It's class.
It's classist. It's classist.
Yeah, so
Like I said, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to rush to having a moral judgment. I don't have a moral judgment on them. Some guys I know I've talked to love them. Some people are kind of like, of course. Yeah, that dude crazy. You know, some people just watch it because they like seeing ratchet women get shitted on. Like that's their own thing. But you know,
ratchet women getting shit on in a construct of society that they didn't create. Men created that construct. Women didn't. Women didn't create the construct of men are supposed to provide for them. Men are supposed. We didn't create that. We did.
I'm not saying you did.
Did we? I don't think so. I mean, I think it's like, who do you blame?
Do you think that women get most of their advice for getting a man from other men or from women?
No. Yeah. That's your conversation. That's what? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Is it because they don't trust the man's advice?
No,
because,
I mean, I think
a man will tell you, right? And I've had ladies friends that I've had, and my lady friend gave me the best advice. I said, "How do you know when a woman really likes you?" She said, "She always wants to spend time with you." I was like, "Man, that makes sense." And she was right. Women want to spend time with me, has some interest in me, right? I asked her. I didn't ask my dude. Well, you gotta, grab her ass, and you gotta make sure she eat at Roof Chris or some bullshit, right? So is it that y'all don't trust men's advice?
No, I'm sorry. Let me back up. I think like growing up, as you start to get information, I think it comes from women because that's who you're around most. Women in your family, more than likely your friends. And then I think after a certain age, then you may include men in the conversation or taking advice from them, like the Steve Harveys. And now this guy, right? You're like, oh, I'm 30, I'm not married, or I'm whatever age and I'm not married. I should ask a man's perspective. What am I doing wrong, or what should I be doing to get whatever? Or let's hear what men have to say about, what we need to do to get them. I was like, oh, girl, be you. Just be you. I'm sorry, that ain't. I don't have a platform.
Be you isn't good advice. I'm going to say that right now. Being you is not good advice. If being you isn't working for you, if being you isn't getting you the results that you need, stop being you. You got to be a better you.
I agree with that.
C-Tun gives dating advice.
You got to take inventory of yourself.
Yes. Being you can be a better you. I just don't be. I would think don't be a different person. Or don't act differently, or whatever. Just people just have the freedom to be themselves. I mean, so many other people didn't. But think about it, Antoine. Every woman.
You have to clarify what that means too, right? So does it mean be yourself means you get to wear a Birkin bag because that's what you're interested in and go to Roof Chris, and you want a man to pay for it? That's can't insane. Be yourself.
You should pay for it yourself. No, if that's what you want, you should be purchasing that for yourself, right? And if your goal is to never go below that level, then say, oh, okay, well, I just need to be with somebody who makes the same amount so that I can continue to purchase my Birkin bag. Not I gotta trade my feminine wiles or what I look like, in exchange for a Birkin bag. I'm worth that.
Do you think women would like if a guy, instead of buying them a Birkin bag, a guy taught them how to invest in the stock market so that they can make.
That's too many steps. No, I don't. I do not.
Listen, hear me out.
You asked me in general. I like the information.
I'm just saying. I said, do you think a woman, right? And my argument is, it's kind of like, and I've heard Antoine make this argument, right? Is it more valuable if I teach you how to fish? Wouldn't that be a greater gift for a man who is interested in you, right? He can make you get what you want and everything that you can imagine that you want, versus he has to go out and split his earnings, part of it to go to things you want, but you can actually do for yourself, but you think it's a custom that I do it for you. And then the other piece of my money goes to things that I need to go myself. Why can't he just, hey, before we get into all that, let me show you a couple little things that you could do from your phone. Take your money and you will have a Birkin bag in no time. That's what Kevin said.
We cut the Tandy Bear in the HR cave again. Well, Tandy, I've noticed that you've really improved in the last few months. This is great. You're an expert at climbing mountains now. The honey stores never looked better. I mean, wow. It's very well organized. Where did you pick up these skills? I'm curious.
My new bear boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I met him when I had the other outside honey job with the other bears. He's really patient with me. Yeah, he's really patient with me. After I fell into that jar of honey, he helped me clean myself off, and he's like, look, you're doing it wrong, okay? And he's like, I'll give you 6 quick and easy steps to follow so that you can stir the honey, get it foamed up, stay clean, and produce even more honey that you can store for hibernation and then sell some to make a profit.
Wow. What was his name?
Oh, his name is John Bear.
John Bear?
You know John Bear? Yeah, do you know John Bear?
Yes, I know John Bear. Yeah, he's a top 10% bear. Yeah, he is.
He's a top 10. He's got that show on radio, Bear ZW.
Yeah,
you can call in and he gives other bears, especially male bears, he gives them advice on how to become top 10% bears. And then sometimes women bears call in too, and he lets them know what they're doing and how to do it better so that they can get a top 10% bear. It's really, really wonderful.
Oh, wow. That's great.
We cut to the Bear TRZ show, whatever it's called. Callers calling in. John Bear?
Yes.
Hey, thank you for taking my call, man. I really appreciate it. I need some help. I am deep in relationship debt right now. I owe so much, and my relationship is on the rocks. I'm staring down the barrel of relationship bankruptcy, and I need some help. Can you help me out?
Oh, well, first of all, it's clear you're not in the top 10% of the bears.
I'm trying to get there, man. I'm trying.
And somebody should have told you never put your relationship on credit, man. You can't. It's too risky. What you need to do is go ahead and file that bankruptcy, all right? But then you're going to, that's not going to mean anything. You got 7 years, right? That means you're still going to be single for 7 whole years. But in that 7-year span, you can learn all kinds of new things like honey and inventory management. You can set fish nets, gather a whole lot of salmon. You can find, hikers' phones and start investing in Coinbase and Squares and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of things you could do in 7 years, man. You could become your wildest dreams in that 7 years. So when you come out of that 7-year relationship hibernation of debt, you're back clean, right? And now you're in the top 10%, and you can get a new relationship credit, but this time it'll be way worth more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great, John Bear. You know what? Your book is on the way. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting by the mail to get it. And I'm going to start reading it. I'm going to start doing all of that, man. Thank you.
Definitely, man. Just go ahead and subscribe and like to my page, and add a tip if you like as well. Let's go to our next caller.
Oh, hi. I was a top 10% bear, but the new rankings came out and I fell out of the top 10%.
Oh, man.
And my life had just gone. It's just gone to hell. I mean, I can't explore my options anymore.
So you got caught cheating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was at the time. How was I supposed to know I was cheating at the time?
You got to constantly stay up on your stats, man. That's a part of being the top 10% bear. You always know your ranking. Because if you're not watching your ranking, what's the point of being ranked, right? Unless you are number one. And if you're number one rank, you know you're number one because everybody's trying to get to you. Everybody. All right. So here's what I suggest.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest you go back to the bank and add another line of credit, relationship credit for that side piece that you had. And then you start building the relationship equity in that line. And that what that will do is it'll put more pressure on your last credit to get it together. Otherwise, they're going to take that credit from you. And that is also on her name. Okay.
So, I'm writing this down, but didn't you just tell the last caller not to put a relationship on credit?
That's what you should not do. But if you're not a top 10% bear, if you're a top 10% bear, you want to use all the credit. Get as much credit as possible because you can exercise as many options as you need. Okay. Sorry to hear that, man. Remember, it's not cheating unless you confessed. One. And that's the end of the Radio Bear Show, where John Bear gives you all the advice for growing your top 10% stats. Have you ever been somebody who wanted to just be recognized as great and a leader and somebody who could be trusted, somebody that's taking life by the balls or the vagina? Either way, like and subscribe to my page.
And that is the Can't Tell Us Nothing show, everybody. Thank you. I hope you're writing all that down, people. Thank you for listening. Listening.
Never start a relationship on credit.
Oh, God.
Check your rankings.
Check your rankings.
Check your rankings.
And then if you're at the top, exercise your options. DJ Comfy, get that music queued up. For John, for Dandy, for Michi, for myself, Antoine, that's the Can't Tell Us Nothing show. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to the people in the chat. Benita, Tressa, Kenneth, Karna, John, Kentwan. Thank you so much for leaving comments. Thank you. Come back again every Tuesday night at 9. Come back, check us out. Thank you, Facebook.
Peace.
We out.